ever hold something inside you so long it starts to rot? A truth fermented in silence. This ain't about closure. It's about honesty. Yeah. Dear friend, can we talk? Can I pour this truth like wine? Unfold the ache I've locked inside for such a long, long time, dear friend. Before the silence swallows it whole, I need you to know I tried, I cried, I'm here, I'm whole. Ladies, you let
Welcome to Blended Healing. Welcome to Dear Friend.
Intimate
Let's talk.
There were nights I wrote you letters, tore them up before the dawn. Pages heavy with forgiveness, but too late to right the wrong. You weren't a villain.
Welcome to episode 6 of Dear Friend. Sometimes the problem isn't even that somebody left your life. Real talk. Sometimes the problem is that they never really left. They just got real comfortable popping in and out whenever it worked for them. Like they got a key to your life or something, but only use it when it benefits them. You ever had somebody like that? That don't disappear completely? No, but they just go missing when it's time to actually be, upright, stand up type of person. But let something go wrong in their life. Now, all of a sudden, they know exactly how to find you. Now they're calling, texting like, yo, what you doing? I've been thinking about you. My bad. I've been going through a lot. And you sitting there like, all right. And every time they spin the block, you let them back in like nothing happened. No questions, no pressure, no accountability, just straight access. Because in your head, you're like, nah, this is my person. We got history. They just going through something right now. You start making excuses that sound good enough to keep the door open. But let's be real for about a minute. All right? Just for a moment. How many times somebody got to be going through something before you realize that that's just how they move? How many times? Do they got to disappear on you and then pack up like, pop up like everything's regular before you stop calling it love, before you stop calling it loving and start calling it what it actually is? Because some people don't want a real relationship with you. They don't want consistency. They want you. And they don't want responsibility. And they really probably don't want to show up or stand 10 toes down for you either. They just want the access. Access to your energy, time, attention, your comfort when they need it. But when it's time to reciprocate that and be there for you the same way, that's when it gets like you can hear like a pin drop, mad quiet, And the crazy thing is this type of situation will have you confused for a long time because they're not fully gone. So you can't fully detach. But they're not really there either. So you never feel secure. It's like you're stuck in a weird middle space where you keep telling yourself, right? Nah, it's not that bad. Whole time, something don't feel right. And eventually that little feeling, that little voice that you keep brushing off, it starts getting louder and louder and louder until one day you got to sit with it and admit that this ain't love. This is not consistency, and this is not even a real relationship like I thought it was. This is somebody who knows I'll be there, so they treat me like I'll always be there. That realization right there, yeah, that right there, that hits a little different. Welcome to Dear Friend. You've been holding on to this long enough. Let's unpack it together.
Sometimes the problem isn't even that somebody left your life. Real talk. Sometimes the problem is they never really left. They just got real comfortable popping in and out whenever it worked for them. Like they got a key to your life or something, but only use it when it benefits them. You ever had somebody like that? They don't disappear completely. Nah, they just listen to some phone, man. And you sitting there like, alright. But then you realize every time you open that door, you teach them it's cool to treat you like a lobby. And maybe it ain't. Maybe it's time to change the locks, keep some peace for yourself. Somebody stop letting them back in. For good.
That's deep. So what is this episode about? This episode is about those relationships where somebody is technically still in your life, but only on their terms. That's what makes it so confusing, because from the outside, it doesn't always look like anything's wrong. They still hit you up every now and then, still check in just enough to keep their foot in the door. They still know how to pop up when they need comfort, support, attention, advice, validation. You name it. Or just somebody to dump on. When it's time to be consistent, yeah. When it's time to really show up for you, to be solid for you, intentional, and actually stand 10 toes down in the relationship, that's when they get real hard to find. That's when it's excuses, excuses 101, here we go. That's when it's distant. When it's, I've been dealing with a lot, my bad. Life been crazy, life is life. And then after a while, you start realizing, nah, this ain't bad timing. This is just a role that they gave me in their life. What makes it even worse is that they're not even fully gone, so it keeps you confused. They still check in, they still pop up, and they still keep just enough contact to make you feel the relationship is still alive, still worth holding on to, maybe. Just maybe capable of being what you hoped it would be. But if you're being real, it's not really there in a real way. It's just there in a convenient way. When they need something, when they feel lonely, it's there when life humbles them and they need somewhere safe to land, But when you need the same energy back, crickets. A lot of people don't even realize how painful that is until they finally stop romanticizing it. Being halfway loved, halfway valued, halfway considered, and halfway prioritized. That'll have you sitting there questioning yourself, making you feel as though you're now lowering your standards, making excuses for that, and holding on to something that is no longer that you value, only because it's not fully going nowhere. It ain't going there. Partial love will wear you out. Inconsistent care will mess with your head. Being there for somebody who only knows how to be there for you when it's convenient to them, yeah, that'll have you learning some hard truths about people, and it may make you run off the reservation at them. You feel me? All right. So the theme of this letter for today is realizing that somebody only really knows how to show up when it benefits them. Okay? It's about finally recognizing the difference between somebody who values you and somebody who just knows your answer every time. They know if they spin the block whenever life starts lifing on them, when they need some comfort and support and a safe place to lay their head, they already know you're going to be there. This part should feel like that moment when it finally clicks and you realize, damn, I was only important when it was convenient for them. They always knew how to come back, but they never really knew how to stay. You confused their occasional presence with genuine care. You confused their random texting with consistency. You confused their access to you with actual love, loyalty, and attention. And the whole time, you was being solid for them, something that they only visited when it was useful to them. That's what this letter needs to feel like, if you're going to write one. That painful but honest realization that maybe, just maybe, you meant something to them, but not in the way that you thought you did. Ashe? All right. We'll be right back after these messages, and then we're going to get into today's letter.
Thank you for all of this.
She just glows, draws you in like midnight gold. Daily dose of tea. This ain't lust, it's legacy. Touch your heart, shift your frequency. In the love palace where soul ships realign. Let love dock right here.
Georgia, Georgia.
Yo, just pulled up to the Love Palace. Ain't no cap here, just facts and feels. D and Kel's on the mic, we talking ships, all kinds.
Palace, the spot where your soul can heal. We lift ships up, never tear them down.
Situationships with benefits.
Tap in, you bones. Where the love?
Where the love?
Is it him or is it us? He said,
What did I do?
now she looking right back like
You know the truth,
she
huh?
looking right back like
You know the truth.
oh.
Where
Thank you for traveling with me. I am Goddess D of Love, and make sure you subscribe to my channel on YouTube, TikTok, and IG.
I'm not going to hold you. Some of these letters, and I should have put a disclosure out there or a disclaimer, are upsetting. If you are triggered by any of these letters, please, by all means, excuse yourself. And when you're up to it, hit the replay button. These letters are also available if you tap into me or send me an email. I will definitely send you a template for the letters, as we did in previous episodes. It's up to you, but you can always use it as a springboard to write yours. Ashe. The letter. Dear friend, I think what took me so long to understand was that you really never left, but you never really stayed either. Somehow, that was the part that messed me up the most. Because when somebody leaves, at least it's clear. At least you know where you stand and you could tell yourself, all right, this is what it is. But when somebody keeps popping in and out of your life just to remind you that they're around, just to know that you're still there and to keep your name alive in your phone and to make you feel maybe this still means something, that'll have you all the way twisted up inside. They'll have you thinking that maybe the connection is still there. Maybe the bond is there. This time, they'll really mean it. And they'll come back and stay. If I'm being all the way honest, I believe that. I really did. Every time you came back, I made room for you. Every time you reached out, I answered. When you needed somebody, I was there. I don't even think I realized how one-sided it had become because I was too busy being understanding, trying to be mature about it and giving you grace. Busy telling myself, yeah, nah, don't take it personal. They got a lot going on. The whole time your behavior was teaching me exactly where I stood in your life. And I kept refusing to see and read the lesson that was like flashing in the sky. If I'm really keeping it honest with you, you are always good at showing up when you needed something. Oh, you knew how to find me then. When you needed to vent or needed some comfort, when you needed some support, when life was punching you in your big old head and you needed somewhere soft that you can hold up at. Things wasn't going your way and you needed someone to remind you that you still matter. You know that person who you are? You know that person who you always knew my number? But when I needed consistency or honesty or at least an effort, when I needed that same kind of presence I have been giving you without hesitation, then that person, you know, you was always a little mad hard to find. And I think that's what really broke something in me. Little by little, I started realizing your presence in my life was based more on your convenience than it ever was on real reciprocity. And that's a nasty truth to sit with. When you actually love somebody, care about them, or thought that y'all really had something, thick as thieves. You know what I mean? Peanut butter and jelly, being a kid, but going back to seriousness. Nobody wants to admit that they've been overextending themselves for a relationship that only seems to survive when it's useful to the other person. Nobody want to sit there and say, damn, I think I've been loyal to something that only comes alive when they need me. That's a rough pill to swallow, man. But that's exactly what this started feeling like. Useful, not mutual. No safety, nothing. Not even rooted, just useful. Like I was in an emotional Uber Eats or some shit. Like you knew you can pull up whenever you were hungry or lonely and whenever life started beating your ass. And I still be there on with the light on. I hate it took me this long to really see the difference. that I kept calling it history when really it was inconsistency. I hate that I kept calling it patience when really it was settling. I hate that I kept telling myself, nah, just give it time. They'll come back around. When deep down, if I'm being real, you had already shown me your pattern. I just didn't want to accept it. And maybe that's the part I really needed to say out loud. Not just for you, but for me too. You didn't always disappear, but you were never really dependable either. These two things are not the same. Somebody can still be technically in your life and still not be showing up for real. Somebody can still text you, pop up, still say they care, and still not actually be the person that you thought that they were, solid, anything like that. That's what I had to learn the hard way. I had to learn that occasional access is not the same thing as genuine presence. I had to learn that hearing from somebody every now and then does not automatically mean that they deeply value me. And just because they know how to come back doesn't mean that they know how to love you right. The ugliest truth in all of this is that you got used to me being there and to me answering you. You got me used to understanding, making room for you. And you got used to me being soft with you, patient with you, available to you, without ever really stopping to ask myself if you actually earned that kind of access to me in the first place. If I'm telling the truth, part of this is on me too. I kept leaving the door unlocked for somebody who only knocked when the weather got bad. I kept treating your return like it meant something deeper than it actually did. I kept taking your reappearance as proof of care, proof of life, when really all it proved was that you still knew that I was reachable. I'm not even writing this from a place of anger. I think I'm just tired now. Tired enough to finally tell you the truth and to admit that I deserve more than just a random check-in or a run-through or a run-by, you feel me? Honest enough to admit that love, friendship, care, whatever we call this, should not feel like something I only get in pieces when it's convenient for you. I had to admit that. I can't keep confusing your return with your commitment because those are not the same thing. They never were. And maybe that's the lesson in all it is. Just because somebody knows how to circle back doesn't mean that they know how to be there. Just because somebody can find their way back to you doesn't mean that they ever really knew how to protect you. And I finally had to learn the difference between somebody missing me and somebody valuing me. Those are not the same thing either. So I'm writing this now because I finally see it. I finally see that I kept holding space for a person I thought was in this relationship with me that only existed in pieces. I kept trying to make something feel whole that had been half-assed for a long time, giving access to somebody who was only ever giving me a partial presence. Maybe that's what I'm letting go of now. Not just you, but that person I kept trying to save in my head. Because the truth is, I can't keep pouring into a connection that only remembers me when it needs me. I can't keep making excuses for inconsistency and calling it love. I can't keep showing up 10 toes for people who only know how to stand halfway for me. Maybe you never meant to hurt me the way that this did. Maybe you do really care in your own way. Maybe you really did mean well sometimes, but good intentions don't change the reality of how this felt. And how this felt was lonely, confusing, uneven, draining. And I owe it to myself to stop pretending that wasn't true just because I wanted this to mean more than it did. So that's that. Sincerely, and maybe still in love, your friend. I felt every part of that. Every part of that. And I'm sure it resonated with a lot of you. Because I think that one way or another, I think we all been in that position before. But just to hear it again, it does bring up some things. So get a sip of water, take a deep breath. And when we come back, we're going to talk about it. Okay? All right. I'll be right back.
Welcome to Shamaka Essentials.
Mystery box, what's inside? Lunar drift, to guide the night. Tarot spreads, visions clear. Dream Mecca Essentials is always near it. Dream Mecca Essentials, house of blessings running. Spray so low, feel the magic press. Dream Mecca Essentials, house of blessings for every night, every way. Lift your spirit rising.
The House of Holistic Royalty by Kells is dedicated to delivering premium, nature-driven remedies that support the mind, body, and spirit. Her mission is to cultivate whole body healing while inspiring self-love and self-honoring practices through the timeless wisdom of Nuzi. Every blend, tincture, and tea is crafted with intention. Organic ingredients, sustainable sourcing, and a whole lot of love. Because when you honor your body, you honor your life.
Thank you, Queen Kells, for that. Make sure that you tap into Holistic Royalty by Kells here on YouTube and all streaming platforms. She's there. She's got wealth of knowledge. And make sure that you roll up on www.shamakaessentials.com underneath the house of Holistic Royalty by Kells for her teas and her tinctures. But she also can get hit up on IG for the same thing. Make sure that you tap in and see what's available. Ashe. Let's talk about it. Because that's deep. Let's really talk about it. Because one of the most dangerous relationship situations you can ever get caught up in is when somebody gives you just enough attention to keep you emotionally attached. Just enough communication to make you second guess yourself. Enough presence to stop you from fully letting go. Just enough history to make you keep trying. That's exactly why this type of relationship will drain the life force out of you. Because it's not really gone. It's not really gone. If it was, you know what to do. You would know how to move, be in the grieving process and call it what it is. But nah, that's the in-between that really messes people up, man. It's that random thinking of you text out of nowhere, get a text, and sudden check-in when you finally start getting your mind right. My bad. I just been going through a lot. I just been going through a lot. We got to catch up soon. Or, I still care about you. The little breadcrumb, the little emotional appetizers, the little nothing ass efforts that still somehow be enough to keep you strung out. The little nothing ass efforts that still somehow be enough to keep your heart from fully walking away. But if you're not careful, just a little bit will keep you emotionally loyal to something that has never actually been in your life for real. Because if you kept it 100, people know exactly how to maintain access to you without ever offering you a real place in their life. But that's the real deal. Some people are not trying to build with you, grow with you, or stand with you. They're just trying to keep the door cracked in case life started beating their ass and they need somewhere familiar to go. They want your softness without responsibility, and they want your loyalty without even giving it a consistent seat. They want your show presence without having to ask for your set doors. And if you real one, if you loyal and you care deeply and you got history with that person, all of those people, you'll keep trying to see the best in that. Yeah. Trying to see the best in that. You'll keep trying to make excuses for people who keep showing their ass for you to kiss, and then the same pattern in different outfits. Let's talk about it. But eventually, you're going to stop judging people by how they show up in moments of convenience and start judging them by how they show up in moments of responsibility, if you have to judge at all. You shouldn't have to judge. It should be right there in front of your face if you want to see it. But that's neither here or there, because anybody can hit you when they're lonely. They can spin the block when life is still a little bit overwhelming. Anybody can circle back when they need something familiar, some validation, some comfort, or a soft place to lay their head. But who's really there when it's inconvenient? Who's really there when it requires effort, some sacrifice, accountability, or intention? Who's really there when the energy ain't centered around them and what they need? That's where the truth lives. People stay attached to potential because they don't want to accept the pattern. They keep falling in love with what something could be while getting hurt by what it really is. Patterns tell the truth long before words do. Somebody only knows how to find you when they need something. That's not closeness, baby. That's not depth or loyalty. That's convenience. 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 Only you really see that for what it is. It'll either break your heart or finally set you free. Whew. Sorry, but not sorry. I'm giving you something to think about. And I had to say it just like that. I'll be right back.
You thinking that maybe the connection is still there, maybe the bond is there. This time they'll really mean it and they'll come back and stay. And if I'm being all the way honest, I believe that. I really did. Every time you came back, I made room for you. Every time you reached out, I answered. When you needed somebody, I was there. I don't even think I realized how one-sided it had become because it's been the city. It took me writing this down to finally admit it to myself, to see it for what it was, and to decide that the only person this letter needs to reach is me.
I hate dumping. Welcome back. I hate dumping all of that stuff on you without giving you some real time solutions. I could sit here and go, you need to change this, you need to change that, and point that out until I'm blue in the face. But the accountability for yourself is with you. So allow me to give you some real-time solutions, okay? All right. So what do you do when you finally realize somebody only really knows how to show up when it's convenient for them? First things first, stop overvaluing random effort because it's random. Just because they pop back up and the blue does not mean anything actually change. A text is not consistency. A check-in is not accountability. A hey, or I've been thinking about you does not suddenly erase a long pattern of being inconsistent and unavailable or selective with their time. One moment is not a lifestyle change. Having a good day is not healing. One apology, if you even get that, is not a new foundation. Watch what repeats. Watch what's consistent and watch what happens when there's nothing in it for them. And that brings me to the second thing. Pay attention to who initiates when there's nothing to gain. They'll tell you everything you need to know. Do they only come around when they need comfort, advice, validation, help, support, or emotional labor? Or do they actually check in because they value you as a person? You know what I mean? There's a huge difference between somebody missing what you do for them and somebody genuinely missing you. Third, and this one right here might mess you up a little bit, stop giving full access to halfway people. Stop handing out VIP treatment to people who keep acting like you got general admission energy. You out here giving immediate responses, emotional availability, understanding, loyalty, softness, grace, patience, and all of the good parts of you to somebody who has not even shown that they know how to handle any of that responsibility. That's gotta stop. And lastly, match the energy without being bitter. I want to say that real clear, because matching energy is not the same as being petty. You don't have to crash out and you don't have to write a whole dissertation in the text message. You don't even have to perform your pain just so they can see it fully. Sometimes growth really does look just like that. Not being available as you used to be, respectfully. Ask yourself the harder question that people don't like to sit with. Are you holding on to this relationship because it's actually healthy, or is it because it's familiar? I'm trying to figure out how people can confuse the both. Anybody got an answer for me? Okay. People keep revisiting pain just because it feels recognizable, but familiar does not mean safe. The history does not always mean home. And if you're being real, being familiar will have you accepting things you would never in your life advise somebody else to accept that they love. So before you keep making excuses for them, ask yourself, is this really love? Or is this just something you've gotten used to survive? All right? So what do you do when you finally realize somebody only really knows how to show up when it's convenient for them? First things first, stop overvaluing random effort because it's random. You understand? Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. All right? That's what you do. This is just a little reminder that what we just went through. Okay, just a little reminder. Pay attention to who initiates when there's nothing to gain. That'll tell you everything you need to know. Stop giving immediate responses, emotional availability, understanding, loyalty, softness, grace, and patience. Be real about it. Ask yourself the harder questions that people don't like to sit with. Okay? All right. Now I want to give you something to think about. Okay? All right. You can just put this any way you want to. You can write it down in your journal. You can type the answers in the chat if you like to. It's up to you. I'm going to ask you some questions and I'm going to do it slow. Okay? All right. Question number 1. Who in your life only seems to show up when it benefits them? If you're being real with yourself, how long have you known that? Have you been calling inconsistency history just because it's hard to let go of somebody you once loved, care about, or you so adored? What have you been tolerating just because somebody still occasionally checks in and knows how to make you feel like maybe there's still something there? Have you mistaken access for love? Have you mistaken somebody circling back for somebody actually being on point? Do the people in your life really know how to be there for you when it's inconvenient, when it requires effort, when it's not centered around what they need? Where in your life do you need to stop giving access to people who only ever showed up halfway? Are you really holding on to a relationship, or are you holding on to the version of that person you keep replaying in your head, hoping one day it'll finally become what you need it to be? All right. These are some of the things just to get your mind going to think. Write it down in your journal, speak it into your recorder, whatever it takes in order to keep these questions in the forefront as you go through the process. All right? I said. I'm going to close this out right here. No, you know what? We'll be right back after this.
Sometimes the problem is they never really left. They just got real comfortable popping in and out whenever it worked for them. Like they got a key to your life or something, but only use it when it benefits them. You ever had somebody like that? They don't disappear completely. Nah, they just fit to the some phone, man. And you sitting there like, all right. But then you realize every time you open that door, you teach them it's cool to treat you like a lobby. And maybe it ain't. Maybe it's time to change the locks, keep some peace for yourself. Somebody stop letting them back in for good.
You thinking that maybe the connection is still there, maybe the bond is there, this time they'll really mean it and they'll come back and stay. And if I'm being all the way honest, I believe that. I really did. Every time you came back, I made room for you. Every time you reached out, I answered. When you needed somebody, I was there. I don't even think I realized how one-sided it had become because it's been the city. It took me writing this down to finally admit it to myself, to see it for what it was, and to decide that the only person this letter needs to reach is me.
Safe. A check-in is not accountability. A hey, or I've been thinking about you, doesn't erase a long pattern of being inconsistent, unavailable, or selective with their time. Consistency is clarity. It shows you where you stand and what they're truly willing to give. Choose to believe it, and choose yourself enough to walk where the patterns don't follow. You deserve steady.
Stop giving full access to halfway people. Stop handing out VIP treatment to folks who keep acting like they only bought a general admission ticket. You keep giving immediate responses, emotional availability, and stop giving them everything just because you see their potential. Start reserving your energy, your peace, your love for people who show up for you, who match what you pour out. You are the prize, you are the standard, and when you're done proving your worth, simply stand up, leave them wondering, and walk toward the life you deserve. Keep your standards high. The right people will rise to meet them.
History doesn't always mean home, and if we're being real, being familiar can have you accepting things you'd never tell someone you love to accept. So before you keep making excuses for them, ask yourself, is this really love, or is it just I've gotten used to survive? Your heart knows the difference, it always has, so choose the kind of love that lets you breathe, that lets you heal, because you deserve more than surviving.
I wanted to show you that again, so you understand what the journey was that you went through today. You can refer back to that as much as possible. I wanted to make sure that it all got in. Some people don't keep access to you because they love you deeply. Some people keep access to you because they know you're a safe place to land, a soft place to go when life starts lifing on them, when they're lonely, when they need comfort, when they need somebody to remind them that they still matter. And if you've been confusing those two things, trust me, you're not alone. A whole lot of good-hearted people do. A lot of loyal people do, too. You know? A whole lot of people will, with real love in them, do. But at some point, you got to stop letting history make decisions that self-respect should be making. Because just because y'all got history does not mean that you owe somebody unlimited access to you. Being needed is not the same thing as being valued. And being remembered is not the same thing as being chosen. That's a word right there. So if this episode hit home for you, maybe it's time to stop asking why they only show up when it's convenient and start asking yourself why you have kept making it so easy for them to. Why you keep or kept leaving the door cracked. Why you kept calling breadcrumbs a meal, and why you kept confusing somebody, circling back with somebody really being there. Dear friend, you've been quiet long enough. Maybe it's time. I want to thank you for coming through. I hope I was able to help. I'm only a phone call, a text message, not a text message, a phone call, an email, IG away. If you need to talk, or if you want your letter to, or be a guest on the show, please by all means hit me up and we'll take care of that. Dear friend, take care of yourself. Until the next time we meet, be well, stay safe, Ashe, and deep bow to each and every one of you. I'll see you the next time on Dear Friend.
Still something need me, remembers things. Hands no rhythm, my mind can't trace. Like I've been shaped by another place. There's a fire in me I didn't light. Still it burns through every night. Call it memory, call it truth, but it don't feel new. They don't knock, they just arrive in every breath that keeps me alive. I'm not walking alone. I feel them here in every doubt, in every tear. They left their footsteps in my soul. Now they echo